Hello everyone, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming at you another Let's Play episode of Violet Memoir. And I was right, that last update added more to Oscar's path. So we're going to be skipping Lay for right now, or Lee. Some people are telling me it's Lee, some people are telling me it's Lay. I'm going to say Lay. Lee. Ashley Scott. That makes more sense, yeah. But anyway guys, we are continuing the buff order, so let's jump right into it, shall we? Please enjoy for the next 20 minutes, and let's go. Alarm Shane, you're up. Okay. After everything I've done, after every mistake I've made, how can I sit here and be happy? Helena. Oh, dear. Mom, you're never gonna believe this. So... Quinn, oh no. Oh no, Quinn, stay. Please be safe, bunny boy. So, Quinn took me out to this cute little cafe nearby, and then we met him. This absolute hunk. I'm pretty sure his biceps are bigger than my head. His name is Conrad, and he plays on the football team. He's a linebacker. I don't know what that means, but he's built like a truck. Quinn told me that Conrad's single and doesn't even go out with guys to bars. He said he doesn't like hooking up with random girls. Such a gentleman. His mom is a movie star. You remember Diane Hughes? She plays Melanie in Lady Fox's Silks. I got the total jackpot. What? What? Oh, the music is nice. Okay. It's sad, isn't it? Lay's intruding voice is enough to startle me, but she places a reassuring hand on my shoulder, instilling a feeling of calmness and familiarity. It reminds me of when my mother would give me a hug whenever she'd accidentally bump me with her tail. She stopped doing that after Marcus. Can you step back? Your smell is very distracting. It catches both of our attention, and we look over towards the rest of the group, all of which are standing around a computer. Well, grouping them together isn't quite right. Lee is standing off to the side, a glower across his face as he stares towards Oscar, who is almost towering over Lucas, who was seated in front of the computer. For his part, Lucas didn't look upset, his attention never leaving the screen despite his scrunched-up nose. I'm guessing the chlorine smell is worse for him. Having a sensitive nose isn't that gift that I used to think it would be. Oscar stands up straighter, putting more distance between himself and the fox. It's not a huge distance, but Lucas does look less tense. Thankfully, he doesn't look offended. Not that I think he's capable of being so. While there's an entire computer lab in the library, there's still individual computers scattered amongst the bookshelves alongside a moderately large table, likely for those who want to work with a group or with privacy. Lucas wanted somewhere more private, but I think we would have had to use this place anyway, unless we wanted to awkwardly cram around a tiny little booth. The main area has rows of computers for anyone to use. There's just a small booth for each one, leaving the work area very small. Very cute. Lily's voice is so quiet I don't think I would have heard it in this area if the library had more students. Which one? Lucas, obviously. I don't think you can call the other two cute. Despite how quiet she's talking and the distance between us, I catch Lucas's ears twitching. The insides flushed a darker pink. I don't know. I think Lee and Oscar are great, too. Of course they're great, but Oscar's hot and Lee's handsome, not cute. I don't think Lee would like you calling him cute. With Oscar no longer invading Lucas's personal space, Lee's now leaning forward to see the screen, occasionally muttering something. They're speaking at such a low volume that there's no chance for me to understand what they're discussing. I hope they're able to find some more about each of the victims. Lily's words cause my eyes to linger on the three attractive guys in front of me, and it takes effort to force myself to look away. My mouth feels dry, and I hope it's not from gaping. Surely I wasn't drooling over them. Let's get back to the diary. My voice squeaks out at such a high tone that all the boys look over towards us for a moment before returning their focus back on the computer screen. That's the final straw that causes Lily to crack, covering her mouth to muffle her laughter. The others don't manage to pick up her giggles, or they don't react if they do. I'm sure Lucas is trying his hardest to just ignore the two of us. I think my head would explode if they started to stare at me again. You read the next one. I'm gonna enjoy the eye candy a little bit longer. Unlike you, I don't think I'm gonna have a chance. I don't know how to respond to that, so I just ignore her and get back to reading. There's a surprising amount of ripped pages throughout the book. Is this something she consistently did herself? When did she rip them out? Was it when she made a mistake and wanted to redo it? But there's many paragraphs that have been crossed out too. Did they have something in them she wanted to forget? Most of the entries are filled with typical average daily life. That sinking feeling I felt when I first read starts to return, forming a pit in my stomach. The juxtaposition between how happy she sounds in this compared to what she's done is just disturbing and a little sad. Wait, this one mentions Conrad again.
Mom! Conrad finally texted me again. I was kind of worried he was going to flake, but he got back to me. He wants to take me on a date. Quinn is trying to get me to wear all this expensive stuff, and it's like calm down. I can't afford this. She's still making me wear those super cute earrings. Little pink stars and a moon. It's so adorable, I want to scream. Mercy says she's going to tag along and make sure I'm okay. She wouldn't listen to me when I told her it's fine and Oscar's a good guy. He could roofie your drink, even though we're going to a restaurant, not a bar, but you know how Mercy is. We'll be going on Thursday, which is 2 days from now. I'm really excited. That's cute. I remember going on my first date. We went to the movies and he tried sliding his hand up my skirt. Turning my attention towards Lily, I'm unable to stop myself from gawking at her. Her only response is a laugh and a pat on my shoulder. It's okay. Well, it's not okay, but that's boys for you. Before I can stop myself, my gaze slips towards the 3 guys looming over the computer. Lily doesn't miss that regardless of how fast I bring my focus back to her. You'll be fine. They're not the type of guys to do that. Okay, Lee and Lucas aren't the type of guys to do that. I'm pretty sure it's part of the deal when you go out with someone like Oscar.
Part of the deal?
Well, yeah, he's a jock who clearly wants to get in bed with you. I'm pretty sure he'd rail you down one of these aisles if you asked. Okay, let's switch topics.
That causes her to burst out laughing, loud enough to catch the attention of the boys. They look towards us with a curious expression on their faces, except for Lucas, who's looking away with a flush across his face. Oh, them big ears picking up everything. I don't know if his ears are just insanely sensitive, if he's trying to tune out Oscar and Lee by listening to us. I have a feeling it's the latter.
Fine, we'll switch. What about you? How was your first date?
I force my ears against my head to hide the obvious flushing that's about to happen. I pray it doesn't peek through my fur on my cheeks. There's a large amount of proof there, but they don't hide the prominent red color.
I've never been on a date before. I've never even met anyone gay before coming here. You'll be getting a new experience. That's great. I think any of these guys will certainly be something interesting. Don't be afraid to sleep with them on the first date. They're very yummy, and I know you would. Damn. Shanu mommy? Jesus, right out the gate? Damn, girl.
Ugh. Man. She's hardcore. A choking sound comes out of my throat, and I must sound like a flustered teenager. I mean, I am 18, but I'm an adult now.
I'm not sleeping with one of them on the first date.
In an act that I can't tell if it's condescending or just her trying to comfort me, she places her hand on my back and rubs in a circle like you'd do with a small child to calm them down. I hate that it works.
You're so cute. I remember when I was a shy virgin. I think once you get a taste, especially if it's Oscar, you'll burst out of your shell. I know it.
I'm reading the next entry now. I lift the book towards my face with such fervor that I almost smack my nose. I'd happily take that trade, anything to get me out of this conversation. I managed to avoid it with my mother, but somehow this feels even worse. But I'm surprised to see another ripped page where the next entry should be. There's been a couple so far, but it's always so jarring to come across. It gives the book an almost morbid aesthetic, a fitting aura considering its history, I suppose. This frickin' funeral dirge isn't helping either. God, the mystery is so unsettling. Moving to the next page, there's an entry that's already started. It looks like it's about the date with Conrad, but the entire first part is missing, starting us right in the middle of an entry.
That was a little strange, but he's a really nice guy. If he didn't look like he could carry me in one arm, I would have never guessed he was a football player. I don't know what he did to make Mercy so against him. He was so sweet, especially to her when they met. She definitely knows something, but she isn't telling me, which is really weird. I thought we told each other everything. Why is she keeping things from me? Whatever it is, I'm sure it's nothing. Conrad's a good guy, and if he does anything weird, I can drop him on his ass. Can't wait for him to call me back. Looking between this entry and the one before the rip, I can't help but feel like there's a massive gap of information. Just what caused these pages to get ripped out? Did she do this? Before I thought it might be entries she wanted to rewrite, but she only ripped half of this one out. Did she want to forget it? What happened to elicit such a reaction? But from the description here, it didn't seem like the date went bad. An idea pops into my head, and I look up towards the rest of our group. Lucas isn't even looking at the screen and is arguing with Oscar instead. I can't make out what they're talking about, but Lucas clearly isn't happy.
Well, arguing isn't the correct term. It looks more like he's scolding or lecturing him while the otter just smiles at him, unfazed by the stern glower on the fox's face. Lee is looking utterly exhausted. He did bring this upon himself, I suppose. I just asked Lucas if he could look up anything interesting regarding the incident, and Oscar followed him. Oscar and Lucas alone is probably a bad idea, so I can't fault him for tagging along to make sure things don't turn out into a nuclear war zone. I'll have to thank him later. Lucas, can I get you to look up something for me? The speed that Lucas rushes out of his seat and comes over to our table is so sudden that I have to stop myself from jumping. Looks like he wanted to get out of that situation as fast as possible. The others don't take too long to join us, though neither of them sit down like Lucas, who has taken one of the 3 seats across from Lily and me. Yeah, well, what do you need? There's a strange shade to his voice, as if just talking is exhausting to him. He doesn't look upset, if anything. He looks... Oh, sorry, guys. Let me drink a little bit of water. You kind of wet my throat. Okay, there we go. Ha ha he ha 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 fo 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 fee fee foo. Okay. Alright. He doesn't look upset. If anything, he looks more comfortable now. It's more like all this interaction is draining him of his energy. Do you think you guys can look up more about Helena's friends? When I looked up things before, I only got the basics. The nodding he gives in return are skittish. It might be best to just look up only a bit more before leaving. I think he's reaching his limits soon enough. He deserves a break. Lucas isn't the only one affected by the looks of it, as Oscar also seems just as restless. He's reverent but coy. Now it looks like he's actively trying to force conversation. Likely all this work and no play isn't fitting for someone like him. I can talk to the guys on the football team, but most of them don't go to the gym. But I do. But a few guys there know them. We can't do that right now. Lee's voice is firm, but not unkind, like a parent telling one of their children no. It's just a small jog. I think you guys wouldn't even notice I'm gone before I'm back. I'll be there and back in a flash. It's hard to not notice when you're here and when you're as loud as a fire alarm. So obnoxious and insistent. Like usual, Oscar doesn't look offended by Lucas's comment. It's hard to tell if Oscar just doesn't understand he's insulting him or just chooses to ignore it. Maybe he just thinks it's cute. Actually, I think that's exactly it. He looks towards me and gives a wink. It's lacking any form of subtlety, making his intentions with the fox as clear as day. The sigh that Lee releases in response says more than any words he could mutter. Plus, I might show up without a shirt. I always prefer working out shirtless when I can. Don't wear a lot when swimming, you get? Would probably cause too much of a distraction. Lucas makes a struggling whimper and looks over towards me with a panicked expression, but there's a hint of something else in there. I think the blush showing through his fur is a sign that there's parts of him that don't entirely disapprove. Oscar grabs the hem of his tank top and begins to pull it up before he's stopped by a sharp voice, the tone cutting through the air. Oscar? His smile only grows when he concedes and lets go of his shirt. He offers a shrug towards me like he doesn't understand what Lee's going on about, but I don't think anyone is buying his innocence. That breaks the tension between the group, and I can feel myself relaxing again. It looks like everyone else has as well. Oscar works in a strange but effective ways. Lily decides to speak first, and I'm thankful for that. I've never been good in social situations, so it's good to have someone to help with them.
I think it'll be best if we talk to them another day. I think looking up more about them is a great idea. Just make sure you're being respectful and don't pry too deep, okay?
I'll be fine. Lucas gets up and walks a couple steps back to the computer before he stops and turns towards Oscar. His whiskers are twitching, and it looks like his whole body is twitching. He looks nervous. Do you think you can help me? I'm not very familiar with sports. It's never been something I've been interested in. Too brutish. I prefer books to legally beating other people up. He crosses his arms and looks to be digging his claws into his sleeve. His ears are pressing down hard against his head. He's looking everywhere except towards us. But what catches my eye the most is the way his tail just loses all life and hangs limp beside him. I think he's embarrassed with himself. Maybe even angry. Oscar isn't having any of that, and he slides right up next to the fox. I'm expecting him to press up against him like he does to me, but he only gives him a smile and a light pat on the back. The touch is respectful, and that's something more shocking than I think anyone expected. I don't think anyone's more surprised than the fox, though. His entire body pricked up as soon as the otter got close, but now he just looks surprised. There's no words as they walk towards his computer and sit down. Lee looks towards me with something crosses his face that I can't explain. It seems sorrowful, but also proud.
Everything okay?
It slips out of my mouth before I can stop it, but Lee seems, I keep saying Lee, but Lee seems to have expected it and nods, shaking off that gloomy aura. I think I can even see the tiniest twitch of a smile, but he turns away before I can get a good look. He looks actually happy, with something that Oscar did no less. There's an embarrassment to him that I'm not used to seeing. I wonder if it's for being proud of something that Oscar did, or because I caught him doing it. Fine. Good, actually. I hope he stays like that. For your sake.
For my sake?
But he doesn't give me any response. Instead, he just walks towards the other two, who are already bickering about something. He just slides back into his slot against the wall, letting them continue as they please while quietly observing them. But there's a warmth to their argument. It's not friendship, but there is less of a distance between all of them. All of us because I'm a part of them too. We're all together in this as classmates. As friends. If Helena had friends like this too, then why did she end up the way she did? What happened exactly? It just doesn't look like something she'd do under normal circumstances. But then again, people are capable of awful things. Terrible, cruel things that can completely destroy someone's life. Even a single mistake can completely ruin everything. The next couple of entries are short and simple. Just quick updates about her life. Just the regular, ordinary days of a college freshman with absolutely nothing spectacular mixed in. Shopping with Mercy. They have a weekly tradition of getting iced coffee and drifting between stores. Funnily enough, Mercy doesn't actually like coffee, so her choices tend to be super flavored. Going to the bar with Quinn. If it's a good night, then Quinn ends up heading off with some guy and Conrad takes her home. From the sounds of it, they go out as a trio often, even as a group of 4 if Mercy tags along. Things with Conrad are going slow and steady. The occasional date and text, but nothing more. He hasn't even made any moves on her. They're taking their time with things, though it does sound like he's being a gentleman. But then I come across an entry that catches my immediate attention.
Happy birthday, Mom! Just got off the phone with you and I just had to write now. I'm sorry I couldn't get you a present, but I wouldn't even know how to ship them to you on time. But I'll get you something when I come visit home. It's strange not being home for your birthday. We can't go out to get our nails done today. I think that's a first in like 10 years. Mercy and I are going out later to get them done. I'll make sure to send you a photo of them. I know you'll send one back. You better not get those neon green nails again, though. They're so ugly. I know things have been hard lately, but I want you to know that I love you more than anyone else. There's no way I'll never let someone hurt you. I'll call you again later. I promise. It'll always be just you and me again, you and I against the world, no matter what. So just keep being strong for both of us. There's a poignant silence between Lily and me, the weight of that entry hanging between us. I know she's ringing along with me. The only noises piercing this somber atmosphere is the quiet bickering between Oscar and Lucas. It's comforting, reading it with her. It's not like the other night. It doesn't feel like it's suffocating me. Nothing particularly bad has happened in the diary so far. In fact, the tone has been pretty upbeat, but that just makes the sickly feeling in my stomach worse. Like she can sense my thoughts, she reaches a hand over and takes my own. There's no spark, it's completely platonic, and somehow that's everything because that means I have a friend. Someone who sees me as only a friend and likes me for me. Thanks. It's no problem. We gotta be there for each other. We're almost in the adult world now, and everyone isn't going to look out for us anymore, so it's up to us to help each other out.
The feeling of her claws through my fur brings back the memory of a summer vacation long ago. My mother's claws scratching the back of my ear as Marcus bandages up the graze on my knee. He hugged me, and they never let me go until I stopped crying. Pulling my hand away, Lily sits up straight and gives me a smile as I close the book. Content for one day. The deep violet of the cover is forever burned into my brain by this point.
All done?
The real question screams out louder than the one said. It says, "Are you okay?" That is the question, isn't it? The whole diary is weighing down on me. Stopping would be the best choice.
Yeah, I'm fine. I think it's a good place to stop. We learned a little bit. Let's hope the boys found something better.
I think back to the last entry in the diary. Something about that last entry felt a little strange to read. I feel like there's definitely something up with it. She had a good relationship with her mom, but I feel like there's something wrong.
It's probably her dad.
That catches me off guard. I did consider that possibility, but I didn't think she'd be so brash about it. What makes you think that?
I don't know if he's dead or if they're divorced, but it looks like he's not involved in their life much anymore. It's probably why they're so close. She does seem really close with her mom. I love my mom, but we're not that close. Not since I was younger. What about you? Lily's face twists into an expression I can't describe before she just shakes her head. She opens her mouth to answer, but closes it instead. She looks towards the guys crowding around the computer, and I follow her gaze. It looks like the atmosphere here is even affecting them. There's less open talking, only the occasional mutter from Oscar into Lucas's ear that makes the fox's ears perk up. There's even a distance in their actions. While Lucas is still using the computer, Lee and Oscar are both on their phones. Things are... Alright, I'm gonna pause it there, guys. Man, this is so... This mystery is really building up. I cannot wait to find out what's going on. There's definitely something dark going on with Wallace, too. He keeps bringing up that guy. Is it his dad? Is it his adoptive father? I don't know. It's very strange. Marcus. Who is Marcus? And who is Marcus to Wallace? But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to the next video. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!